We are so close to reaching our goal, and that is to get Steph and Harley to the tip of Australia, the northernmost tip of Australia.
Hey, slippery! If you think the Cape is just the Teletrack, we are about to show you exactly what we got up to on Off-Grid.
Welcome to Cape York.
Unbelievable! Might just change your mind about how to tackle Cape York.
3 years in the making, and we're ticking it off today.
Sit back, folks. Grab yourself something cold to drink. This is Cape York, north of the Jardine, off-grid style. This adventure is kicking off at one of our favourite Cape York destinations, that being Bramwell Station. It's got live entertainment, great food and drinks. It's the perfect spot to pull in for the night. Think of a group of people behind us and they'd all like to say good day. In 3, 2, 1. How did we pull up this morning after a little bit of Bramwell madness last night, kids?
Yeah, mate, not too bad, but geez, that's an eye-opener for you.
It's my favourite stop in all of the Cape region. Ken is just such a nice bloke. He looks after us and he puts on a damn good show.
Mate, that he does. He looked after us probably a little bit too well, but mate, that is an awesome place. We'll definitely be coming back there for sure.
Beautiful people.
100%. Now look, we're going to turn right out of here back onto the main road and then we're going to get down to the end of here. I'm going to grab some fuel and ordinarily we would go straight ahead because that is the iconic Teletrack. But for us, doing something a bit different this time.
Sounds good, mate. Let's go.
Last time you saw us, we were continuing the theme of doing Cape York like you'd never seen before. From spearing Barra the traditional way to reaching remote tropical islands. And this time around, we are on the final push that'll get us to the very northern tip of Australia.
We're just coming up to the crossing of the Wentlock River right at Moreton Telegraph Station. It's a beautiful little station actually, you can stay in there. But what blows my mind, I've seen this 20 odd times, up here in the tree, 30, 40 feet above the vehicle is a sign. Have a look at that. We were here in a boat 2003. Unbelievable. The river's right down there. The mighty Wentlock, look at that. Geez, that's a beautiful stretch of water. Just stunning. To think it floods that much, amazing. I've got to get up here in the wet one year and check it out myself.
The top half of Cape York has got so much to offer, and we're going to show you just how much there is to do at the pointy end of Australia. The aim for today is to cross the Jardine ferry and reach one of my all-time favourite Cape York campsites. However, first up, there's one spot that is an absolute must-do when you're passing through. Just going to unhook the old vans here. You see, one of the good things I reckon about Cape York, especially coming up through the guts like we're doing at the moment, is you can actually unhook your vans in a lot of different locations and zip in and out. So if you wanted to, for example, go and do gunshot because you hadn't done it before, but you didn't want to commit to the whole thing, you can actually zip in, do it and come out again. We're going to do that just now, unhook the vans here, because there's a little spot down here that I know all of you have heard of, some of you have been to, those two have never been. And I know it's going to blow their mind. When you think of Cape York, you obviously think of a number of things, and epic swimming holes is one of them. This is Elliot Falls. Now, Elliot Falls itself is just over the other side. Behind me there is Twin Falls. Down from it, you get a thing called the Saucepan. If you take the time to walk up above Elliot or Twin, you can get all of these little falls, the littler pools, all to yourself. Looks too good to stand here looking at it. Let's get in.
How good is this? Welcome to Cape York. Woo!
Elliot and Fruitbat Falls are both worth stopping at. Whether you're tackling the old Teletrack or just boosting it up the PDR, you will not regret it.
We just went and checked out Twin Falls, but we had to come and see Fruitbat Falls. They are both so specky.
Yeah, look, I can see why this is pretty high on everyone's list when they're coming up to the Cape. These places are amazing. Look, it's later in the season, so there's not as much water coming through, but geez, it's pretty bloody special.
Stunning. So cool.
After a few hours spent exploring the falls, it's time to jump back on the road. Over the past few days, we've been hearing rumours that there's been some unseasonal rain for this time of year.
Hey, big girl, where you going?
And as we continue north, we begin to notice the roads are starting to get a bit wet. Hopefully, it's not a sign for what's to come. This right here is the Jardine River. Back in the day, it used to be one of the toughest crossings you had to do to reach the northernmost tip of Australia.
Big 62 on the ferry and being waved on. Always get a bit nervous getting on car ferries, I don't know why. You can normally fit 4 to 6 vehicles on this bad boy. One Y62 in a van. And with that, we've officially crossed the Jardine. No stopping us now.
This is roughly the location of the little settlement of Somerset. It's important because this was the first European settlement on the Cape. 1864 was the year. A man by the name of John Jardine. That surname will ring a bell, Jardine. John Jardine was appointed the boss out here, for want of a better word. Made a life out here for himself, his family. Had a son. Son's name was Frank Jardine. Frank's story is very important to the Cape, as is a lot of people up here, but it's Frank's story I want to share with you, and also I want to show you where he used to live. It's right here. This is the ruins, the remains, the old Lockerbie Station, established by Frank Jardine, son of John Jardine, back up there in Somerset. Now, Frank was known for a lot of things up in the Cape during his time up here. One of his big claims to fame, though, was an incredible 10-month cattle drive that took him and his brother Elliot from Rockhampton all the way inland, up through into the Cape, with a huge mob of cattle to what would have been the establishment of the very first Cape York cattle industry. Of course, Frank went on to be governor back out at Somerset after his father passed away, and he really did have a lot of firsts out here in the Cape and was instrumental in setting up the Cape back in the day. And I say back in the day because it was most definitely a very different time. There was no Starlink back then, kids. I don't think Frank would have had his Instagram handle on the side of his horse and cart. And he definitely didn't know what a TikTok was.
Excuse me, Harley. Can you just pinch me for a second? Is this legit? Is this not the most glorious little strip of beach we've ever seen?
Where are you going with that? I didn't know what you were coming at me with then. I had a rough idea.
I just mean, I don't know what to say.
This is paradise here.
It literally is paradise. This is beautiful little oasis we've sort of just stumbled across.
You know what, I've started to become a little bit infamous for saying that I've got a favourite spot just about everywhere we go to, and it's kind of true, I do. I froth it, I get excited whenever we come into a campground, but honestly, this one here, and I think there'd be a lot of Australians who have stayed here would have, oh, hold on. Wait till you see this. Would agree with me that this is so spectacular.
Oh, we are right on the beach.
What have I been up here now? I can't even count, close to 15, 17 times. And I never get sick of looking at that view. Steph and Harley behind me, I know it takes them about 3 minutes to set their entire caravan up. They've been going at it for 30 minutes now because I keep coming around the front of the van and going like that. For good reason too. That is one of the best campsite views, I reckon, in Australia. Everything's cleared up now too, so you can really see those offshore islands. It is cracking. What is even better, however, is what I've got in store for them in exactly 45 seconds. I'll go and round them up and we'll get going. Loyalty Beach really is up there with one of Cape York's best campgrounds. And with views like that, you can see why we keep on coming back. To our west, the setting sun. Directly behind us, Loyalty Beach Bar, Horn Island, Thursday Island, and the entire TI, Torres Strait Islands, all off the coast. This place, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know, but for me it just resonates. There's something about it. You've just done the Teletrack, you've just done the PDO like we have, you spent 2 or 3 weeks up the Cape, you get here, you crack a coldie, and that's what you see. For crying out loud. Cheers, and here's to the Cape.
To the Cape.
Cheers, team.
With the sun setting on another cracking day, we're settling into camp with a quick cook-up from the kids and enjoying the best bush telly you can have. I approve of that.
know if you can hear that, but
Wait.
the peace and quiet, the serenity. For some reason, we just don't get that in our campsite enough. There must be some sort of factor.
You don't like the soothing sounds of Graham Cahill at 7 in the morning?
No. But have a look at this, mate. Perfect morning.
Yeah, you can see all the islands out there.
Yeah. I think we should get back. Maybe one more coffee, a little bit of breakfast, and saddle up for the day.
Road.
Gotta make sure I don't forget Old Faithful here. I'll chuck him in. Gonna need him today. It's gonna be hot. One last thing I've got to do before I head off. Fold my mirrors back in. These clear views right here. Fantastic for vision, especially when you've got a vehicle as long as mine. Add a caravan into the mix. And if you've got a little set of mirrors, you can imagine driving along constantly stressed. You're not relaxed in the seat. You're not sitting back looking at it and saying, yep, I can see everything. And that means when you get to camp, get to your location, you're knackered. I don't like that. I like to be able to sit back and see exactly what's going on. These bad boys here from Clearview, they are fantastic. I don't have to have them pulled all the way out. I can go halfway in, I can go all the way in, I can come all the way out. And the beauty is today, we're heading down to the mouth of the Jardine River. The track in, super tight and twisty, in spots I'm not even sure how I'm gonna fit. So all I need to do is give these one big push. Clearviews go in, still offering maximum vision here, but now in a much more compact size. And that just means I can get out today and enjoy myself. For now though, we ain't going anywhere but exploring the rest of the Cape. With the four-wheel drives loaded up for today's mission and base camp squared away, it's time to show you a side of the Cape I don't reckon you've seen before. The plan for today is to head out towards the mouth of the Jardine River for a bit of a look and to show Steph and Harley one of my favourite beach drives in the top half of the Cape. After a slow, tight push out, we've reached the mouth of the Jardine. And judging by how soft the sand is, I reckon I might have to let the big girls sing. The sand out here is super soft, and it's not long until it's caught Harley out.
Oh no.
Now, for those of you who don't know Harley, he's not one to back out of a challenge. And well, he might just be causing himself more issues by continuing to try and get out.
Like it's a job or the run bar.
I think we agreed 2 beers per tyre.
I'm not stuck. I'm just having a rest. It's a hot day.
How come your tyres are moving? You're not going anywhere.
What do you mean? There'll be a nice man that'll come along and save us at some point.
Look at that. That's his chassis. That's what that is. Righto, that's 2 beers per tyre, 6 pack for a winch. Agreed?
So you got a deal.
Done. Yes! I am suddenly the man of Cape York, rich with beers. All we need to do is just get them up out of the hole they've created and back onto the soft sand. The tyre pressures are perfect, but they've dug themselves down onto their chassis. So we'll swing them up onto the top of the sand and they'll drive out from there.
Look at him.
Oh, spruiking. He's gone full Jez Cameron on this one and just cracking imaginary beers in celebration.
Well, there you go. Less than 2 metres of rope on the old rumba and he is out of beers, that is. You know, one thing I really love when it comes to any accessory, it doesn't have to be a four-wheel drive accessory, you know, it could be anything. Hunting, fishing, whatever it is an accessory that has multiple uses. It has primary use, this is a roof rack, solar panel, carry things on top, strap your swag down to it. But something you probably don't even think about when you're buying a roof rack is how many other things can you use the roof rack for? Shovel, gas bottle, spotlights up the front, multiple use. So one object used to carry things on top, multiple uses. Let's go for a fish. The mouth of the Jardine River really is a spectacular spot to visit and well worth the effort to get out here. On low tide, you can walk right out on the sand spits and flick a lure into the gutter.
You know what? I actually really don't even care that we got bogged because it was so worth it. Because look where we are now. Stunning beach.
This is the stuff of dreams, it really is. People work their whole lives to come up here and do this. It's not lost on me. I like to suck it up whenever I can. Breathtaking, it is beautiful. Cape York is jam-packed full of things to see and do. And with the morning getting away from us, it's time to head towards one of my favourite drives north of the Jardine. Rightio, you two. This right here is one of the more famous, and for good reasons, beach runs in the Cape. The 5 beaches loop, and it is a loop. We're not going to come out the way we went in. Don't know if we'll get to all 5 beaches today, but we'll give it a red hot shot. Soak it in.
Sounds good, my friend. Great day for a beach drive.
It actually really is a great day for a beach drive. Look at the weather. Let's just go and have a look and see what we find.
L-I-V-I-N.
Yeah, baby.
This 4-wheel drive track takes you along the eastern side of Cape York and is an incredible part of the Cape in its own right. As is the case with most beach runs, make sure you check the tide before tackling it.
Graham Lindsay Cahill. He's bloody done it again.
What have you done, old man?
He's torturing us.
I think he's starting to go he's starting to lose it.
He's losing a few screws. They're a bit loose.
It's 12:30, 20 to 1.
Perfect time for lunch.
And
They're frozen!
snags are frozen.
The only thing that could be better right now is if we had defrosted snags to chuck on the barbie on the beach. Mwah.
Yeah.
I think maybe those beers that he earned by lending us the shovel
Yeah.
might just come back full swing.
Repaid.
Wanted to say a big thanks to everyone who is frothing on the photography tips. People are starting to pick up their cameras again after putting them in a dusty drawer and getting stuck back into it, and that fires me up. And I reckon I can tell exactly what you're doing right now. You've got your camera back out of the drawer again, but you've got your camera on P mode. P stands for program mode. We jokingly call it professional mode. It's not. Program mode means it does everything for you. So if you really want to take control of your photography, you want to get off P mode and you want to use one of 2 other modes. A or S, and they'll be the same whether you've got Sony, Nikon, Canon, it doesn't matter. They stand for aperture or shutter. And I'm going to make it really easy for you to understand when to use either one. Look at your subject. Is that subject moving? Is it a still subject? Well, you want to use A mode, A for aperture. Put very simply, aperture controls how much of your subject is in focus. All of it in focus or only a very small amount. For example, in a portrait, you might just want to get those eyes in focus and deadly sharp. Aperture mode. What if your subject is moving? 4-wheel drive coming up a track. You want to freeze that movement right where the 4-wheel drive lifts the wheel. S mode, shutter mode. That is where you control movement in a photo. A fast shutter speed, really fast shutter speed, everything freezes. A slow shutter speed, you're going to get blur. Just get out there and experiment and shoot with your camera. They're free to take photos with. Back in the day when I was learning, you had to put a roll of film in there. Cost you a fortune. Now, it's free, so get out there and keep shooting. So these tips have got you fired up and you're thinking, really should get back into me photography, need a new camera. George's Cameras, that's where I get all my gear from. Brand new, this one right here, I got it from George's Cameras. Jump online, georges.com.au. Get yourself fired up, start taking some pics. I really want to see what you folks come up with. With the snags finally defrosted, it's time to pull up for a bite to eat. And I don't reckon you could pick a better location than right here on the headland overlooking the 5th beach. How's me set up? I froth it. I really do. Mid's canopy, drop down clear view right here, fridge. Check out that view. Look at the lovebirds, they're loving it. That view out there, and it's all doable. Cape York, you gotta love it. After a huge day exploring and lunch in a picture-perfect location, it's time to head for camp. I reckon we're in for a sunset tonight. Big day today exploring the Cape. What I like about base camp is you get back here and I reckon, time me if you like, I reckon 30 seconds and I'll be set up. The reason I closed everything down, I don't know if he's still around, he was, big old bush turkey was getting around. If he jumps in my cupboard, I'll know all about it. So I closed everything up. 30 seconds I'll be set up, grab a beer, find out what those two are doing with their coconuts. I'll head down the beach, I reckon. Put your timer on.
Just cracking open a few coconuts here. Nice green one there. That is what you're looking for. That's the inside of it. You can hear that in there. Water shaking about. So we've got 2 nice young green coconuts there and 1 old shriveled brown sort of one. I'll let you read into that what you will, but that's the 3 coconuts we have.
Cape York coconuts on a far north Queensland beach, watching the sun disappear on another beautiful day. Come on, honestly, it doesn't get much better than this. I think I've got everything here. I'd always planned to do a bit of a risotto, but didn't really know how it was going to work out. And risottos are a pain in the bum because you've got to stir them, as you know. Every 3, you've got to keep stir all the time. So we're going to use science today, kids. We are not going to stir this until the very end, and it's going to be the creamiest, most delicious risotto you've ever had. No stirring. Steph's looking at me like, no, you have to stir risotto. Italiano, stir the risotto. Huh? Stir it, keep it stirred. You don't have to, trust me. It's not, don't have to. Okay, the basics of where we're at is that unlike the traditional risotto where you would put everything together, add the rice and stir like a thing that stirs, I've fried everything off and I've transferred it to a secondary bowl. I'm now going to add some rice to the bowl that we've been frying things up in with a little bit of stock and some white wine. And I'm going to cook the rice separately in stock and white wine. Then we're going to add the main ingredients back into the rice. And that's where the magic is going to happen. Okie dokie. We've now got this rice to a point where the rice has absorbed all the liquid. We'll just have a little test. I don't want it to be utterly cooked through. I want it to have a little bit of a tiniest bit of bite to it. In my humble opinion, that's perfect. So you can taste the individual rice grains, but it's not mushy, if you know what I mean. This is where it's a bit weird. I'm now going to put all the cooked ingredients back in there. Give it a stir, let it heat through. That smells amazing. You can see that's gotten really silky in texture. It's changed from the watery appearance of boiled rice to the silky texture, that silky smooth texture of risotto. It's exactly what you want. Activating the starch in the rice after you've cooked it. You've added all the ingredients back. It's foolproof, absolutely foolproof, but don't take my word for it. Cue the experts. Come on in, kids.
Oh, Uncle Gaz, this smells delicious.
Does smell good, mate.
Give me your plate.
No stirring, you reckon?
Well, I stirred toward the end, as you saw.
No vigorous nature.
No vigorous nature, no. Come back here, you're a growing girl.
Yes, I can. Oh, no.
Yeah, you're having a big old nonna amount. Hang on.
Manja. Oh, yes, the toppings.
Hey, g'day to all my friends in Byron Bay at the moment. Hope you guys are doing well. Have a go at
Jeez,
that.
that actually looks pretty good.
Come here, mate.
You've done well there.
This is the exact kind of meal that I want to be eating after the day we've had today.
Yeah.
Have a try.
Yeah, bug you.
Get in there.
No manners around here.
No. Should be that hot.
No.
Oh,
What do you think?
That's perfect.
guys.
Haven't even tried it.
Frozen
amazing.
chicken and all, but
Oh, Gasmatron.
that's unbelievable.
Yep, you've outdone yourself.
Oh my God. Honestly, if you've never tried making, well, if you've had tried making risotto before and it's a pain in the butt, and I agree with you, do it this way. Cook everything first, take it out. Then cook the rice slowly in stock and white wine, really slowly, let it absorb all those flavours, put everything back in, stir it really vigorously with a little bit of cheese and some butter, serve it up. No one will know that it took you no effort at all to make risotto. Honestly, it's as simple as that.
That's great.
These guys,
10 out of 10.
Mate,
10 out of 10.
perfect.
I've got green things between my teeth. Fire, sit, eat.
Yeah,
Sleep.
let's grab a seat.
Tomorrow's a big day. Going for my morning walk this morning, as I want to do. Just offshore, not far, like not far at all. Huge, big salty. It goes to show these waters, I mean, it looks like paradise, and it is, but you just can't be complacent. You can't just wander out there for a quick dip. It's almost coming into irukandji season too, so even just wetting your feet in here would probably be a bit of a risk. She's savage out there. Now, we have saved the best till last today. The reason everyone comes up here, for good reason too, is that just over there, not too far, is the northernmost point in Australia. The easternmost point, very easy to get to. Very easy, there's a cafe there. Southernmost point, not too hard at all. Westernmost point, whew, even harder, I'm gonna say, because it's so far from the population on the east coast. The northernmost point of Australia, takes a bit of gumption to get up there. Today's the day. Taking Steph and Harley, they're gonna tick that off their bucket list. What I'm gonna tick off my bucket list right now is the breakfast they're cooking. I left them up there in a haze of bacon fumes. I can smell that from down the beach. You brought the Crocs in.
It's good, doesn't it?
Oh, is that too much? I don't know. While the plan for today is to tick off our goal of reaching the tip of Cape York, I have one spot first up that I really want to visit. And it's a location that I guarantee you folks at home have never seen before. Righty kids, glad we had a big breakfast, had a big day, all the way to the top.
This is it. 2 weeks in the making, my friend.
3 years in the making.
3 years in the making.
Yeah,
and we're
come on.
ticking it off today. Stoked. It's all I can say.
Well, we ain't going to go up the normal way either. We're turning left here, which we haven't done before. Follow me.
Copy that. Let's do it.
We're on our way north right now, and we could just take the main road up, and it would only take us 45 minutes or so, and we'll be at the tip. But we're taking this little track here, which is not very often used. You can tell that because, well, I only just fit through it. The reason we're doing so is that up ahead here on the coast, there was a vital lifeline to Australia back in the day. The word lifeline, I mean lifeline, and you'll see why if I can make it through here.
Gaz has gone all lumberjack on us.
Jesus. He's gone rogue and just
Full tree on car.
the big rigs made a mess of it. How the hell do we get up on this roof?
You might be able to get it from this side actually, because it's falling over this way.
Yeah, I'll get it.
I can keep pushing.
Whoa! Whoa, it's quite the tree.
Do we need more firewood?
Where did that come from?
It just got caught on your arm,
Awning.
on your awning.
Wow! Thank you.
Oop, just got that one too.
Graham Cahill could not move for tree branches.
Just making his own way. Hey, come up here, clear my way for me.
This right here is what we've been looking for. It's the site of the old Patterson Telegraph Station, and it marks the landing point for the undersea telegraph cable that linked Cape York Peninsula and Thursday Island to the rest of the world. The end of the Teletrack, as far as everyone concerned, is the Jardine ferry. You get on that and you've done the Teletrack. For the purists amongst us, the four-wheel drive purists, you haven't finished the Teletrack until you've physically crossed the Jardine River yourself in your four-wheel drive, getting rarer and rarer these days. But if we are being serious about the Teletrack, it doesn't finish anywhere near there. It finishes right here, 100 metres from the beach and only a few kilometres from the tip of Cape York, because this, right here, is where the OTL, the Overland Telegraph line, the bits of wire, actually pop up out of the ground and go into the ocean just over there. The track itself would have come all the way through to here for maintenance purposes. So, come on in. Down here, you can see, still got a bit of current in it. You can see the remains of the OTL, the L part, the line, the wires. And this was Australia's only main point of contact, with the rest of the world during World War II. And back in the day, this would have been Australia's Starlink. It honestly was. It was a game changer. Messages still took ages to get back and forth, but you could literally send a message to London, let them know what you had for dinner, and they would receive the message. It didn't have to go on a ship and take several months for the message to come back. It could take a matter of days. And that's where it popped out. Went over there, across the sea, into Indo, all the way to the rest of the world. So this, technically, is the end of the Overland Telegraph track. Listen to that, the old PDR, she's corrugated this year. Look, we knew we were going to be doing a lot of big outback runs this year. That's why the D-Max has been fitted up with Patterson suspension and, of course, their upgraded brake package. Suspension, well, that makes good sense. These corrugations, I tell you what, they will test out any vehicle. You don't want suspension fade. The brakes, however, especially on the PDR, come into their own when we've all done this. You get into a bit of complacency. You're sort of doing that 60, what am I doing now? 60 k's an hour, 80 k's an hour on the straights, and you'll come into those big sweeping banked corners. Speaking of which, if you don't wash off speed and you hit one of those corners, holy heck, and there's been some unfortunate tragedies up here as a consequence of those corners, you really want to rely on your brakes to wash off as much speed as possible when you're coming into those corners so that you can then come around them safely, let your suspension do the work on the corrugations and exit them safely as well, folks. It's not even about comfort up here, it's about safety. The Petters gear on the D-Max, I was speaking to Haley the other night, he reckons he's had no dramas at all. So if you're coming up the Cape, folks, do it once, do it right.
We are finally going to get to the northernmost point on the Australian mainland, the Northern Peninsula area of Cape York. A dream come true for us.
Oh, unbelievable,
This is
mate.
where we were meant to be 3 years ago, but the stars did tipsy-turvy things and aligned us in a different direction, but
Some
we
old
got here
bloke
eventually.
dragged us in a different direction.
Well, yeah, more or less, that's exactly what happened.
It steamrolled our plans. But anyway,
That's okay.
it's got us here eventually. So, look, let's keep ticking a couple more Ks off, and I think we should be there very, very shortly.
This right here is the remains of the abandoned Pajinka Wilderness Lodge. It was opened in 1986 by the Bush Pilot Airways at a cost of roughly $1.2 million. Now, it's located just a stone's throw from the car park to the tip of Cape York. So you can imagine how this would have been a destination in itself. Unfortunately, in 2002, it closed for renovations and never reopened again. It's incredible to walk through and imagine what it would have been like back in its heyday. Soon enough, we parked the rigs and started our final push on foot to the most northerly point on mainland Australia. There she is. Give it a slap.
Done it.
3 seasons of off-grid. Finally, my promise has come true. I've got you to the northernmost point on the Australian mainland. What do you reckon?
Nailed it, mate. Oh, this is an awesome feeling to be here.
Yep.
Yeah, this is such a specky spot.
Cape York in general, the big old triangle, liked it.
Yeah, loved it. Particularly the northern bit.
Yeah.
Plus north of the Jardine.
Yeah.
So much to see north of the Jardine, folks. If you do come up this way, honestly, have a good research. Have a look on your map, like I said before. Look at those little red lines, follow them. Amazing campsites. The fishing is off tap. Not for us so much. We can't fish to save our lives, but
Same one for you.
Cape York, folks, it's on your bucket list for a bloody good reason. Make sure you tick it off. Now, we are at the northernmost point of the Australian mainland. You guys live all the way down here?
Yep.
I live all the way there. We've got to get from there all the way back down here somehow. So that means this ain't it for Off-Grid. We have still got a long way to go. But tonight, Loyalty Beach, a couple of brewskis, and we're going to stay in Cape York for a couple more days. Say goodbye to the folks from the tip of Australia.
See you guys.
See you guys. That marks the end of our Cape York adventure, with just over a month spent travelling through the top end. Thanks for watching, folks, and we'll catch you next time on Off-Grid.